Qegħdin Barcelona fi Spanja fejn ġejna għal test drive ta' mudell kompletament ġdid mingħand id-ditta Kia. Miegħi għandi l-Arthur Martins li huwa l-Viċi President tal-Marketing għall-Ewropa u miegħu ħan niddiskutu dan il-mudell. Maybe I could leave it in your hands to introduce this new model.
So this is a brand new model. So the Niro is a brand new platform for our group and for our company. Introduces a new kind of proposition, so a totally new package and a new product in our portfolio that is a crossover hybrid that we identified in the market this opportunity to bring this car also fitting with our portfolio and also inside our long term in terms of eco-friendly cars.
How does it fit within the lineup of existing models?
So in terms of length and height, we identify a space in between the C segment and the C SUV segment, where we currently have both the C and the Sportage.
It's not your first hybrid. Do you envisage it will be the last?
Not at all. So as I said, Niro is part of a broader strategy in terms of eco-friendly products that we're going to introduce in the portfolio, and it's the first car for a group of 11 cars that we intend to introduce until 2020. Part of it also the Optima plug-in hybrid that we already present this year, and it will be introduced in the market commercially. It's a broader strategy, also in the idea of reducing our CO2 footprint in the market. And also, of course, you know that we have all the manufacturers have very, very challengeable targets of CO2 for the 2020. So this is part of the strategy also to reach the CO2 targets for 2020.
Your main focus when it comes to new product development, what areas are you actually concentrating on?
So nowadays we cover more or less 87% of the market. We are still missing an important segment that is growing a lot in the European market, where we're going to bring also a product in the future. And from that moment onwards, then what we have available is in fact niche products now. And those niche products, they should be used in the direction of really positioning the brand, so really giving a strong DNA of our brand for the future, in line with the way we want to position Kia. And this is basically where we are looking now. What kind of, if it makes sense to have a sporty car, what kind of additional eco-friendly vehicles we're going to bring into the market. So this is basically in the direction that we are currently working.
What was the thought process that Kia went through to actually come up with this specific model?
Niro is a crossover hybrid. It's a blend of two segments, crossover and hybrid. At first, we had a look at these two booming segments. So it does make sense to bring a cross product, which is combining these two growing segments. Then we had a look at our target customer. What do they say about the hybrids and what do they say about the crossover and SUVs? SUVs are good in terms of their package, in terms of their look, in terms of their active drive. But when it comes to driving them in the city, they are not as convenient to get in and out, to park them, and they are polluting the environment and they are consuming a lot of fuel. On the other side, hybrids, they are very rational cars. They are innovative, they are high-tech, but they have also the drawbacks in terms of the design, in terms of the versatility. So with Niro, we wanted to bring a solution for the market, using the opportunities from these two fast-growing segments and being a reply to the customers with a hybrid crossover, consuming much less than the conventional crossovers and having a much more versatility again than the conventional hybrids.
Many car manufacturers would try to adopt one of their existing products. You decided to start with a clean sheet. Why did you do that?
Right. It's quite understandable if you look at the development, the background of the development. If we had started with an existing platform, we had to start with existing design limitations. Most of the time what happens is that in the name of aerodynamics or efficiency, there are certain design drawbacks. Same when you're developing a SUV. There are certain design drawbacks in the name of the utility. And with Niro, we didn't want to start with any limitation at the very beginning. This platform was particularly designed for Niro, and it accommodates all the efficiency required from a hybrid and the utility required from an SUV.
Who do you see as the target market for the Niro?
Niro is a global project, first of all, but Europe is our biggest market. For us, what we say is a car for any type of customers, but especially the young families who are environmentally conscious and who are keen on advanced technology and who require space in the car to get in and out of the car easily, to have enough versatility in the trunk area and using the rear seat configurations to allow enough space for their children and for their daily life. Today, it's quite easy to spot the hybrid vehicles in the market, again because of those design cues, most of the time which lead to somewhat uninspiring design. With Niro, we wanted to have a design language which is quite atypical of a hybrid. Niro's design language reflects more of a common passenger or crossover car. With this way, we would like to reach to a wider target customer than how it is in the competition today.
We speak about packages. In fact, I was surprised when I was looking at the figures that in some instances there's actually more space, I think headroom, than for example the Sportage.
Exactly. So this is something that we are underlining quite strong in our communication. Although this car in terms of the length is shorter than the CSUVs, but it has quite a longer wheelbase. And this is what earns the car the best in class interior roominess in terms of the front and rear headroom. And this will enable drivers to get in and out of the car much more easily than the competition.
Let's talk a bit about the hybrid technology, very different to what there is available in the market at the moment.
Correct. The hybrid technology that we are using in Niro is the parallel hybrid powertrain. For us, this car is, of course, as a starting point, a hybrid, about the efficiency, about the aerodynamics, but we didn't want to have also a sacrifice in the driving dynamics. This is why parallel hybrid is allowing us to have an efficient driving and having an fuel emissions of 88 grams, as well as the fuel consumption of 3.8 liters 100 kilometer, but as well as a very dynamic driving on the highway. Thanks to the hybrid powertrain, parallel hybrid powertrain, the full output coming from the engine and from the battery are fully given to the wheels. The engine and the battery in parallel are driving the wheels without having any loss of energy in the conversion.
And you opted for a dual clutch transmission.
Correct. So DCT is quite well known in Europe. This is definitely much smoother, much faster in the shifting. Therefore, we wanted to use DCT instead of the conventional CVT transmission.
You stated earlier that this is aimed primarily at people who like technology. How are you going to entice them with sort of the types of technology that you're building into the car?
Right. So like the rest of our lineup, we adopt the latest technologies in terms of safety and the drive assist systems in Niro. So the notable ones, we have the autonomous emergency brake, with the lane keep assist being standard in all our vehicles, as well as the smart cruise control and the blind spot detection. Then as for convenience factors, we have the power and the memory seats, we have the heated and the ventilated seats, we have the wireless charger unit in the interior. And on the top of these, we have the latest innovative technologies coming from our brand Kia. These are namely the costing guide and the predictive energy control systems, which are aiming to maximize the fuel efficiency.
Your job is done, the car is on the market. What next?
For us, this is a very important product. This is something that we are raising the bar for our brand in order to bring our image as much more innovative company, much more sporty company, and also to reach to a wider range of the customers, as I said, mainly targeting the young families. And next, we would like to continue our offense in the alternative powertrain. And next year, we are going to launch the Niro plug-in hybrid.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.